A few weeks ago, I flew out to New York City to attend the Samsung Note 10 Unpacked event. During the event, they said this.
If you have access to a 3D printer, you can use these scans to make copies of the objects you scan.
So at first I thought, wow, that's a really cool feature, but that's probably never gonna come out when I have the phone. Well, I now have the Galaxy Note 10 Plus, and the 3D printing is available. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to Tech with Brett, where I help tech work for you. So in today's video, we're going to check out everything you can do with the new depth vision sensor on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus. Now I do want to mention this is only available on the 10 Plus and not the regular Note 10. Also, I want to talk about this little thing right here. This was not a model scanned and printed from the Note 10 Plus. This is something that I made 10 years ago, and I had printed, this was my first 3D print when I was down at university, and I was taking a course all about 3D modeling using a program called Inventor. I spent hours and hours designing this and adjusting it to get it to look like the tumbler from Batman. I don't know if it got there yet, but it was pretty cool to be able to design this. We did a 3D print and then we had a race, and that was really fun. So 10 years, a lot has changed. We now have the ability to make a 3D scan right from our phone, and we'll see if we can actually print it off. So to get started, the first thing that we need to do is make a scan with our phone. Now we're going to do that using the 3D Scanner app that's available from the Galaxy Store on the Note 10 Plus. So next we need to find a good open space in which we can do the scan. Today I'm going to be using a stool that I'll put the objects on that I have plenty of room to walk around. If you bump the stool at all, that kind of messes up the scan. Also, for the objects that you're scanning, they can't be too big. I think it says that you need to be within 20 centimeters when you're doing the scan, and it will tell you pretty quickly if you can or cannot scan an object. And then for something like this, it might be a little bit too dark to actually see all the depth in the object. So I also recommend to get a lot of lighting, and then you just kind of have to experiment, and anything with a reflection, it really messes it up. It just can't understand the reflection, so those objects won't work. So let's get into scanning. So once we have the 3D Scanner application installed on the phone, we just need to open this up, and here it's going to start scanning. Now you'll see the red box until it is ready to scan something. So it will turn green, and then you can start the scan. So here you can see that this tumbler does not work. So here in the menu, under Help, it will help us understand the best way to take a 3D scan. So to scan something, hold your phone 20 to 80 centimeters away from what you want to scan. And then we need to slowly circle around the subject, scanning all of the areas indicated in blue. For best results, scan things that are at least 20 centimeters tall and aren't dark, transparent, or reflective. And then here it's also saying some things that don't work. So at first there was actually an option where you could scan a person. That doesn't work anymore, but I have found that you can scan a head. So maybe we'll test it out. All right, so let's go and do our first scan. So here on the back of the Note 10 Plus, you will notice this little light, and that is the depth vision sensor. So it uses that, and it uses one of the other cameras to actually do a texture map so that we have some really detailed information of the scan. So I've found that for the most part, plushies work really good. So let's try that out. Okay, so there you can see that it is in green and it is ready to scan. So I just select the record, and now as I move around the object, you can see that it's in a 3D space. So I'm going to move around until all the blue indicators are gone. Making sure you move slow, up and down, and all around. Now if you see a dark spot on the object, that means that there is not enough light in the room. All right, once we select stop, it is then going to save the scan. Now, depending on how much detail, it may take longer, but there you can see the scan, and this just looks awesome. The texture and everything is in there. Now, the hardest part for it to scan is near the bottom where the dark stool is, but there you can see it just got that little part. For some reason, it has two eyes. And then at the bottom, it just kind of creates its own little finish and closes off the object. So this looks pretty good. Let's save it. And so then once we have the scan, we can do a few different things. Here, we can actually attach it to a person. And when we do that, it takes a minute to scan the person, and then they can move around and it will actually move this object that you scan. So it's kind of like they are a puppeteer for the object. Next, you can use it to take a picture. So if we go into the photo, we could put it up here. So I could have another one here, and I can take a photo. Or I could add it to a video and it just kind of sits there on the screen at the same time. And then next we could put it in the garbage, or here we can go and scan another object. So let me show you some of the scans you can do. So I've actually gone through and scanned all kinds of different objects. Here you can see that my Yoshi amiibo worked really well. I found with bigger objects, so this is kind of a bigger one, we have Dumbo, but where there was too thin of a surface, it just left a hole in it. So that would be something that does not print very well. So it was really fun to go around and find all kinds of different objects to scan. So the very first scan that I did was actually my Samsung Android guy. So I really like this one, but I want to print it out now. So let's go and do that. All right, we are at Jared's print shop. This is my brother, Jared.
Hi.
And he is the one that has all the tools, all the gear, and all the knowledge on how we can actually take this 3D model that the Note 10 Plus scanned and set it to the printer. So first I want to ask a few questions. Jared, what do you use your 3D printer for?
I've used it for a lot of things. Some fun, some functional,
Okay.
some just to burn through some time.
Yeah,
So,
I've seen all kinds of things that are 3D print models that are very useful around the house.
yeah, so this one is not useful. This one's fun. This one's a fidget cube, right?
Okay.
So it's kind of cool because you print it in place. It's all one piece, and it's just kind of like the fidget spinner toys. It just goes for forever, but it's fun to hold, fun to play with.
That's awesome. So one print made this little thing. Did you have to snap it together or anything, or
Nope.
just all printed out?
It's all
once?
printed in place. You pop the pieces the first time after you print it. So
That's pretty awesome. So do you find these online? Do you design them yourself? What do you do?
So there's a website called Thingiverse. There's a couple other websites too, but Thingiverse has free models that you can download and print. Anybody can go on there. You can design models. So I have done a couple things. I have a Ring doorbell that it's at my front of house, and it was kind of pointed right at a post, and I didn't like that, so I modeled an angle bracket and printed that, and that was a more functional print, so that the doorbell camera points more at where people actually walk up and not at the street. And so that one was handy.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome to be able to just make anything you want. I heard somebody, was it you that bought a printer and then you fixed your printer by printing a piece? Somebody said they did that, and I was like, that's amazing. So
this is the brains of the printer right here, and there are parts that I printed in there. One of the pieces that I needed, a bracket, when I did an upgrade to it. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to get this printed. It's going to take a few hours. We actually did a test print first, and we learned something really important. So I mentioned before that when you make this model, it kind of just rounds off everything around the bottom of the model. And when we printed it off during the print, you'll see the video right here, it just kind of went all over the place. So we learned a few things on how to make the model actually work. So we're going to run you through the steps of how to get the model from the 10 Plus to the computer and get it on the printer and start printing.
Alexa, turn on the printer.
What? Let's do this.
All right.
So now that we are here ready to print the model, we need to send this to the computer to get it printed. So when we're looking at our little Android guy here, this is what we want to have printed. We are going to hit the menu up here and share. And when you share it, it's going to create a zip folder that you can actually send to people, and it creates a few different files, a .stl and a .obj file that you can import into the 3D printing programs.
Okay, I'm going to open the model in Cura to prepare for printing. Cura is a slicer. It's what we'll use to slice the model into a language that the 3D printer can understand. So first, it's rotated incorrectly. So I'm going to rotate the object. Just grab this here, rotate 90 degrees. So it's upright. It automatically repositioned the model. The problem is, though, this model is too... we need a flat surface on the bottom. So we're going to adjust it slightly so that it goes below the surface so that we have a good flat adhesion to the build plate on the printer. Move. Grab this arrow and move it a little bit. That looks pretty good. Okay, so then we go ahead and hit the slice button, and that will convert the model into layers. You can see the layers here. One thing I forgot, this model's a little big, so let's resize it to a more reasonable size. We decided earlier we wanted it 3 inches tall, so that's the Z-axis, 3 inches Uniform scaling. There we go. So the size influences how long it will take to print. So, and we need to adjust the height on this again since it changed sizes on us. So we can have it automatically positioned, and then we'll reset the position based on getting a flat bottom. Now I'm going to grab the Z-axis and drag it down just a little bit so we have a nice flat bottom part. And now we'll slice it. You can see right here that it expects this print to take it 1 hour and 43 minutes for this height, for this size. Obviously, bigger prints take a lot longer. And I also have a lot of other settings. I'm doing 7% infill, which is how hollow the item is. 7% is the lowest you can go pretty much to still have it have any strength. And also it makes it so that it takes less time to print. So we'll go ahead and save that to file. And what the language that the printer uses is called G-code. So this is a language that's been around since the 60s. It's what all like CNC machines and anything that moves in an XYZ axis will use. What defines where the print head moves on the printer and how to print it. So we're gonna save it as a G-code file. So go right here, just save that. I use a tool called Octoprint for running my 3D printer. It actually runs on this Raspberry Pi computer that's right here. This is a whole computer that runs a web server and has a USB cord connected to the printer, and that's how it sends the commands to the printer over the USB cord. So, and it runs this web server, so I can come here, I can say, okay, I'm gonna upload and grab the file. There's my G-code file. And that's on the print server now. So now it's ready to be printed. We just do it. Let's just change the filament and we'll be good to go. This is our filament here. From green to yellow is what it's called.
It's a cool sound.
The sound is crazy, isn't it?
Actually, start from the back.
Yeah, it's working. Okay. Your eyes are like holes.
My hair.
Dad, can I see?
Oh, it's scary. Woohoo! Look at that!
Should just pull right well. Yeah.
And there he is, my custom-made figurine.
How thin are those feet? Yeah, they're pretty thin.
They're solid though. And here's the comparison between the original Android plushie and my Note 10 Plus scanned and 3D printed model. So just to recap, we took a 3D scan of the Android plushie with the Note 10 Plus. We used the 3D scanner application to share the .obj file with the computer. And through the Cura application, we took that OBJ to convert it into a G-code that we were able to print out on a 3D printer. And now we have our own custom-made 3D print that looks really amazing. And here is the first attempt with the failed elephant. And this is where Jared learned that if you slice off the bottom 3 layers or so, then you get a much better print as it can stick to the bottom much better. And here is the final product of the elephant. The kids really love this print, so it was really nice to be able to have these little custom-made items. So cool. Like, I can't believe we got these little guys. All right, and there it is. It took about 2 hours to print, right?
Yeah.
But look at that. I'm very impressed with the quality of my little Android dude here. What do you think?
I think he's really cool.
So Jared also did a test earlier of the elephant. This is the one that failed at first, but he redid it, and it looks really good. So it was originally a little plush. Well, I guess it was a bigger plush than our Android guy, and printing it down at this size, it actually looks really good. And there is quite a bit of detail in here. So this was a 2-inch print, and then the Android guy was a 3-inch print. So there you can see the size difference there. But yeah, I really like the size of little Android guy.
Pretty good replicator, right?
Yeah, that did a really good job. And we've been playing with the scanner and scanning all kinds of things. Plush toys definitely work the best. Like if you try other toys and they're reflective at all, it just kind of messes up the entire scan and just doesn't work good. We also tested my head, and it did not work very good. I'll show you guys, but the hair looked pretty funny. The eyes look really scary. That would be cool, but it's really hard to hold super still.
It figured out that you were a redhead and that you didn't have a soul.
Oh, this is... Well, moving on. So if somebody wanted to get started in doing this, what did they need? If like you didn't have any printing stuff, what would you have to get just to get started to do this at home?
So all you really need is the printer, which this one I got from Amazon. It's a monoprice Maker Select version 2.
Okay.
It was $200.
All right.
And then Filament, which is the plastic that you're actually printing. The easiest one to print with is PLA filament.
Okay.
And there's lots of varieties of it. This is color changing filament. You can notice it'll change color as he warms it up. It changes color at 90 degrees Fahrenheit.
Which there you can see it's a little yellow, and then it's going to go back to green. So this whole roll of filament was about $26, $20 on Amazon. There are a ton of different colors that you can get. But we really like this color changing. We wanted to try it out, and there you can see the purple and pink as well. So just those 2 things and you're ready to go.
Yep, the printer normally, instead of the Raspberry Pi and the web server that I have, you don't have to have all that.
Oh, okay.
You can just put it on a memory card and print from the printer itself. All you need is a G-code file, which we showed you how to make, and then you can print.
And you're good to go. This guy, we printed 3 inches. What would be the maximum size of print that you could do on your printer?
So this printer, it'll do 200 millimeters wide by 200 millimeters deep, and I'm not sure exactly how tall. Supposedly it's about 200 millimeters tall. So converting that to inches, that's about 7 3/4 inches.
Okay, so maybe could almost do a full-size version of this.
Very close.
It would just take a lot of filament and a lot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 hours for this little guy, and then do you know how long this one took?
It took 50 minutes.
50 minutes. That's pretty good. Tiny little dude. So a feature like this on the phone, would it get you to leave iPhone to have this on your phone?
It's a really cool feature.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I've thought of different ways to scan stuff, and with the iPhone, it has the front-facing camera.
Yeah.
It's really inconvenient. I might think about it.
Oh, there you go. So good job, Samsung, in this feature. So thank you so much, Jared, for letting me come over and showing a world's first 3D print from a Samsung phone. This is so cool. Like, I just can't even believe this. When I saw this at first, I was just like, that's awesome. And on the side here, when I scanned it at the store, it still had the tag on it, and you can even see the tag, which is pretty cool. So I don't know if that's stealing or, I mean, it's just a little plush toy at the store. But anyway, that's what it looks like.
It's a very fun and time-consuming hobby.
Yeah.
This whole room is pretty much dedicated to that now. It takes all my free time, and but I enjoy it. It's great.
It's been really cool to see all the little pieces you have around of things that you've been able to fix without having to go buy a new chair or whatever it is to fix that. And I went and saw your Ring doorbell. That's pretty cool. So thank you so much again, Jared, for letting me come over and do this today. And if this feature wasn't cool enough for you and you want to see more cool things that the Galaxy Note 10 Plus can do, make sure you check out the playlist over there on the side and let us know if you have any further questions about this process. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.